Hi, and welcome to the Songwriter's Journey. In this episode, I wanted to talk about a question that was on my mind early on when I started songwriting, and that was, what PRO do I join? I asked a number of people, friends of mine who are in the industry and have memberships, and songwriters that I met, and just I never got a really great answer. It was always, yeah, whichever one you want. They're both fine. And I felt like, I want a better answer to that. I want a better understanding of why I would choose one over the other. And that's what I hope to cover tonight and to give you my thoughts on the matter. Ultimately, it is up to you. And for those of you who just don't want to stick around, honestly, it doesn't matter. But you want to do some research before you join, and we'll get into some of those details here in soon. Um, but I hope to have a better answer for you than it just does matter. So there's two main ones in the U.S. that you would consider. The first one's BMI. They claim to be the largest excuse me, largest PRO in the U.S. Tea by Dunkin' Donuts. Actually, the cup is Dunkin', but it's really good tea. Not by them, by me. So the first one's BMI, and then the second one is ASCAP. Um, in the U.S., it would be one of those two. There's a third called CSAC, which I don't know their territory they cover. They may cover the world, but we'll get in. You won't have to consider them because they're invite only, and we'll get into a little bit of that later. I'll just cover them very briefly. So BMI and ASCAP for the U.S. and any other countries throughout the world, including Canada. It's going to be whatever PRO is in that country, and then later on, if you do get when you get published and you get your music out there and it starts playing in other countries besides your home country, there are organizations you can enlist to collect your royalties throughout the world. I think ASCAP does it to some extent, but there are other countries that ASCAP doesn't reach, and don't worry about that now. Just focus on your home country. So today we're talking U.S. BMI versus ASCAP. So let's go over a few statistics about both. So BMI claims to be the largest in the U.S., at least, maybe worldwide. They have 750,000 musician members, 20.6 million musical works that they cover. ASCAP is 935,000 songwriters and 18 million songs and scores that they represent. So I don't know if BMI's claim is based strictly on musical works versus songs and scores. I think there's something in semantics there where they make the claim, but doesn't really matter. They're both about I don't know. I don't want to say they're about the same size. BMI's maybe a little bigger. But ASCAP seems to have more songwriter members. Drill down, maybe that's different. I don't know. But we'll just call them equivalent in that regards. Typically, I think in the past, people have joined BMI largely. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for why. I'm going to speculate. When I joined, ASCAP cost $50 as a songwriter, and then $50 for the publishing piece. So for me to join and to have my little company, my publishing company, to collect the second half of royalties that are distributed, it was $100. And at that time, BMI was completely free. Now it's a little bit different. Seems like things have reversed a bit. So from BMI's website today, it is a $75 affiliation fee for the writer, so one-time fee. And then for the publisher side, as an individual publisher, it's $175. For a corporation or LLC, it's $250. And then for a partnership, it's $500. I don't know the legal differences necessarily between all those. I mean, obviously, an individual is an individual. But for between corporation, LLC, and partnership, I don't know. Ask a lawyer. Where I would have fallen in with them in this category is individual. Actually, no. For me, it would have been a corporation because I have an LLC that handles my publishing, my own publishing company. It's got an EIN and all that. So I would have paid the $250 and the $75. So it would have cost me $325 to go with BMI if these were the rates when I joined. Whereas with ASCAP, it only cost me $100 as capped. ASCAP. I will try to say that correctly. For now, right now, ASCAP, since February 13th of 2023, their $50 writer fee has been waived. So they're allowing writers to join for free. And then if you also join as a publisher at the same time, they're also waiving the publisher fee, which is $50. So right now, the only way that you pay with ASCAP is if you join as a publisher. and it's the publisher fee is $50. Period. Doesn't matter. They don't distinguish individual, corporation, partnership, man on the moon. Doesn't matter. $50 by itself. But as an individual songwriter, you'll most likely join um, as both. And you can get a. I'm not going to give you legal advice, but just make sure your ducks are in a row for the company or for your publishing side and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, I have an EIN for mine. It's a separate company, and then I am a songwriter, obviously. Um, so between the two of those, I think in the past, oh, and then something else that's significant is for BMI as a writer, when you join, the period they expect you to be represented is for a minimum of 2 years. It's like a 2-year commitment. For the publisher side, it's a 5-year commitment. So once you join, what all that means is you will be with them until that 2 or 5 year period is up. As a songwriter, you'll be with them 2 years, and then you can change to ASCAP or another one if you want. As a publishing house, you would be with them for 5 years, and then you can switch affiliations at that point in time. And we'll go over a little bit later why that might be of interest to you. ASCAP, I believe it's a 1-year commitment with them up front, and then each year, I think. I couldn't really find the specific details on them, but if I recall correctly, it's 1 year for publisher, 1 year for songwriter, and then you can switch. Now, why would you want to switch? Maybe, who knows? There could be any number of reasons. I don't really know what they are. I haven't run across it myself yet. I'm fine with ASCAP. Haven't really used them. I don't have anything out there yet that I would get paid for. But as an organization, I do like them. They are the only not-for-profit, according to ASCAP's website, PRO. So they act, as they claim, wholly in the interest of their people. I believe BMI is a corporation that is for-profit. So obviously it's in their interest to be able to make money, and maybe that's why the fees are higher. I don't know. As far as which one to join, I think you have to go to each website and do a little bit of research and figure it out. For me, at the time, it ended up being a coin toss. I talked to a few people I know that are friends. I looked at which country artists or joined which, and just from the random few that I looked at, I just came up with ASCAP. At the time, I recall BMI being free, but I decided to pay the $50 for ASCAP. But now ASCAP's totally free, so maybe that's an incentive, and I think it would be for a lot of writers who don't have a lot of cash, is you get to join a PRO and it doesn't cost you anything, and I think that's a great benefit. Now, why would you want to switch? So, the third one that I mentioned earlier is called CSAC. I think that's pronounced correctly. Quick statistics on them: 30,000 writers, 400K musical works. The caveat with them is they're by invitation only. So I believe they typically invite songwriters or artists who have a sizable catalog, or who have a catalog, if I'm being direct, pays really well, in larger catalogs. Like I think Adele is a member of them. There's a number of big names that are part of them, but you can only be a part of CSAC if they invite you, in which I think is you've got songs out there and they're doing well, and obviously you're a name in the industry. So typically you wouldn't have to worry about them. But that goes back to why you might want to switch later with BMI or ASCAP. So if CSAC, let's say you got really successful and your songs are hot, you're great writing, people are picking them up, and you're doing your thing and getting paid really well on the royalties and stuff, CSAC may come along and say, hey, we'd like you to join. Again, no idea how it works or how they make their decisions, just making this up. You wouldn't be able to join them until your commitment to either ASCAP or BMI is up. As we said, with BMI, the initial commitment's 2 years, ASCAP's 1 year. You could do great in that first year or second year. I don't know. I think it takes a few years to really get going in the business. So it's probably not a consideration up front, but when you do renew, and if you think your catalog's picking up steam, maybe it's something to consider. And again, after you switch, BMI will, let's say you're with BMI and you switch to ASCAP, BMI is going to be picking up some royalties for a little while, and then ASCAP picks it up. So I don't know how it all works. They've got ways of working that out. So I think most people probably just stick with the ones they're a part of, unless there's just a benefit for going with the other. And I think there are benefits for CSAC. Again, I don't know the specifics. So the answer to the question is what everybody has been telling me. whichever one. But I think in this case now, at this present time, because ASCAP is free, I think, that's probably a very sound reason to join them. Um, and plus that they're a nonprofit, I do like that. I like the fact that they are not out to make a profit, or they can't show a profit on their books. Being a nonprofit organization, that's probably one of the benefits I saw in them, because they do have to use all their earnings or income or what they're making to help the people they represent, which I thought was really good. So I am a member of ASCAP. That's who I joined. Um, haven't really interacted a lot with them, but I think I called them once or twice to ask them some questions when I was going to be in Nashville. Super helpful. I actually got somebody on the phone. I'm a nobody, and they talked to me, and it was great. So that was a great experience. So if I had a recommendation, I have zero experience with BMI, but based on my current experience with ASCAP and the fact that it's free to join as a publisher and a writer simultaneously, my pick would be ASCAP today for that reason. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions, feel free to post them. I'll try to get to them. And as always, raise the tide. What is it? Oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm going to have to edit this. Nope, I said I wouldn't edit this. Captain your ship, raise the tide, enjoy the ride. It's been a little while.